Welcome to the Project Endure podcast, the place where we talk about life, endurance, persistence, perspective, and so much more. I'm Joe Rinaldi, and I'll be your host. Let's jump in. Before we get started, let me share a quote with you. The great Les Brown once said, "You can't see the picture when you're in the frame." If you've felt stuck in your fitness, mindset, or life as a whole, head down to the link in the show notes and reach out to learn more about Project Endure Coaching so that we can help you step outside of the frame and bridge the gap between who you are now and who you want to be. We can't wait to hear from you. Now, let's get to the episode. Welcome back to the Project Endure podcast. This episode is a solo episode with me, Joe Rinaldi. I'm recording this on Sunday, May 19th, 2024, and this episode will be released on Monday, May 20th, 2024, the day that I turn 30 years old. I want to record this episode so that I can look back on it down the road. If you get value out of this, I would love that as well. And so this episode will consist of 30 things that I've learned in the first 30 years of this life. Before I get there, I will say, for the record, that I ran 30 miles this morning. I ran 30 miles because I wanted to run 30 miles. If that sounds crazy to you, I will take that as a compliment. But I ran those 30 miles and I had my phone and I listened to some music at points. But I made an intentional effort not to take pictures, not to take videos, not to create content, because I am at a point in my relationship with social media where I am sick and tired of feeling pressured to create content, whether that pressure is real and external or real and internal or real and a combination of both. I'm not sure at times, but I wanted to do this for me. And so I ran those 30 miles and I didn't care about sharing that. I share it here because I want to look back on this and I want to hear what I thought about it. But it was good. It was rewarding. It was hard. It was all of the things that I wanted. And I'm sure that I'll have more thoughts as time goes on. But the one thing that I couldn't shake is that I do have I have hard emotions that I wrestle with. And I have these things that I brush off to the side so that I can operate, day in and day out, so I can move, so I can act, so I can build. But I have these things that come up when there's solitude and when there's space. And I faced a lot of those this morning. I wrestled with a lot of that this morning. And it was uncomfortable. And it felt productive. And I share that because I think it's easy to look at other people from the outside and think, man, that person has nothing going on. Just smooth sailing. They could just do their thing. They don't struggle with what I struggle with. They don't deal with what I deal with. They don't have the heaviness that I have. And it doesn't make sense to compare that in the first place, but I share this because there are things going on that came up for me on that run that made me realize that I do carry a lot. And sometimes I don't let myself feel that because it feels like it would slow me down. And so with that being said, legs are recovering from those 30 miles. I am surprised to say that I feel good. We'll see what tomorrow morning brings. But the one thing that I do know is that the run streak will continue. And so with that being said, I'm going to share these 30 lessons in these first 30 years of life in no particular order. I'm aware that I am leaving some things out here But these are the 30 that came to mind. And so here we go. Number one, there is no strength without struggle. If you've followed me for any period of time, you've heard this phrase. I believe it with all that I am. And I think that in order to grow, we need to lean into resistance. We need to do hard things and we need to handle hard things well. However, not all resistance is meant to be pushed through. Some resistance exists to guide us back to the middle. And the hard part about resistance is deciphering which kind of resistance we're facing. Number two, our attention is our most valuable resource. Time is fleeting, and that's what makes it valuable. However, what we focus on with our time is the most valuable thing that we have and that we can give. So be grateful for the people who give you their attention, because that means they are giving you part of their limited life. I appreciate you if you give me any of your attention. And if you're listening to this, that means that you do. So thank you. I would also caution you to be selective with what you give your attention to. 3, it's not about the outcome, it's about who we become. Our growth and our impact are so much more important than what we accomplish. The lives that we can change are so much more valuable than the boxes that we can check. 4, comfort is a slow death. Life isn't supposed to be easy, and the human condition is about experiencing it all, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. To choose comfort is to miss out on being alive. 5, what got you here won't always get you there. Our strategies need to change with each new season. 6, little by little, little becomes a lot. Consistent effort compounds over time, and persistence is powerful. Being patient is required in order to build anything great, and being patient does not mean being passive. 7, pressure and pain are privileges. No matter what you're experiencing, you are here to feel it. And that is a gift. 8, most people won't get it until you get there. Some people won't understand your pursuits until they materialize into something that the world can witness. You have to be willing to be misunderstood on your path to your potential. 9, sometimes the biggest risk is taking no risk at all. We only get to do this once, so go for it. 10, you'll never rise above the opinion you have of yourself. You are enough just as you are, no matter how hard that might be to believe. The value that you hold is not in titles, accomplishments, or accolades. You are unique, special, and loved. 11, you're not lost. You just don't know where you're going yet. We will never have it all figured out. So continue to stumble with intention toward where you want to go and who you want to be. You only need a general direction to move, not a clear picture of the end destination. As it's been said, zoom in and obsess over the details, and then zoom out and observe the big picture. 13. Oh, I skipped 12. 12. Being resilient doesn't mean never breaking. Sometimes being resilient means breaking into 1,000 pieces and then choosing to pick up the pieces and build again. You don't have to do that alone. 13. Endurance without purpose is exhaustion. Find the why, and you can figure out the how. 14, be unreasonable. Don't shrink to the expectations of others or settle for, in air quotes, realistic. You are your only limit. 15, interested people watch obsessed people change the world. You don't have to be obsessed, but you do need to understand if you're interested or obsessed, and then come to terms with the sacrifices that come with each. 16, there are no rules. You can do anything you want, however you want. 17, our injuries provide us with insight. Pain, setbacks, and challenges afford us opportunities to learn. 18, what's down in the well comes up in the bucket. In other words, what we hold in our heart will come up in our actions. 19, just because you're weary doesn't mean you're weak. It's okay to rest, to reset, and to ask for help. That's part of being human. 20, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. If you can keep failing at something meaningful, success is inevitable. 21, I am not who I once was. We all grow, and sometimes that means leaving behind who we once were. The process of becoming involves dying to who we once were, and that can be painful. 22, learn to not mind the hurt. There are no secrets or shortcuts in this life. Hard work works, and the biggest hack might be in learning not to mind the fact that life is hard. 23, direction is more important than speed. There's no point in rushing in the wrong direction. 24, personal excellence is an act of rebellion. In other words, crazy isn't a bad thing. The world will pressure you into being normal. It's not worth it. 25, life comes in waves. Be selective with which ones you ride. As it's been said, this shall pass, and this too shall pass. 26, stop chasing butterflies and instead build a beautiful garden. Instead of chasing things that you can't control, focus on cultivating the person who attracts what you want. Be, then do, then have. 27, choose to have with or without you energy. Set out on the path that you care about and keep going no matter what. People are attracted to that kind of energy, and in time, you'll find a tribe who wants to travel with you. 28, building is an essential part of being human. It's important to have something to work toward. We are creative beings, and the desire to build needs to be fueled, or else we start to wither. 29, fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. The things that scare you will fade away as you walk toward them. Call the bluff. And remember that ready is a decision, not a feeling. 30, people matter most. So love others well. This one is simple to understand and sometimes hard to act on. There are so many more lessons than just those 30. Again, those were the ones that came to mind for me when I sat down to record this episode. With that being said, if you have lessons or wisdom that you'd like to share, reach out because I would love to hear them. I'd love to end this episode with a quote that I've been thinking about a lot as of late. This one is from Anita Morjani, who said, I believe that the greatest truths of the universe don't lie outside in the study of the stars and the planets. They lie deep within us in the magnificence of our heart, mind, and soul. Until we understand what is within, we can't understand what is without. As I move into this next decade of life, I am so excited for all that I will learn about the stars and the planets and everything outside of who I am. I am even more excited and scared to learn more about what is within me. And that is one of the main intentions that I move forward with from this point, is to learn more about what is within. I would love to invite you into that journey. All of the conversations that I have here on the podcast, everything that I write, everything that I create is part of that creative process in exploring who I am, what I believe, and how I see the world. And I'm just so grateful for everyone who's along for that ride. I will admit that I am not a big birthday person. I love to celebrate others on their birthdays for whatever reason. I don't love the idea of having a single day where people make you feel special. When it comes to me, I appreciate everyone who appreciates me, and I am going to continue to operate and build toward what is most meaningful. And with that being said, I will talk to you next time, and I hope that you have such a great day.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Project Indoor podcast, go ahead and subscribe, leave a review on your platform of choice, and share this episode with a friend. It helps us get more conversations like this out to more people like you. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you next time. And one more thing. If you're looking for a community of people all striving to be better together, check out the Project Indoor Hard Things Club. The link is in the description below. We'd love to have you.